How strong is the combination of the Raikage and Killer Bee? From escaping unscathed after clashing with Minato during the Third Great Ninja War, to instantly defeating Kisame, disguised as White Zetsu, in their only encounter, this duo's reputation is formidable, though they have few actual battles to their name. In terms of reputation, during the war era, the AB combo and the Yellow Flash were names that struck fear into the hearts of their enemies. When Killer Bee was still a child, he fought alongside the Raikage on the battlefield. Ninjas who initially dismissed Bee as just a kid would burst into tears upon hearing the name AB combo. Their signature technique, the lariat, was like a scythe of death, with an extremely low survival rate for those who faced it. As for Minato, enemy ninjas were given orders that if they encountered the Yellow Flash on the battlefield, they were permitted to abandon their mission. For ninjas who prioritize missions above all else, being allowed to abandon a mission upon encountering a single individual speaks volumes about Minato's strength. The strength of the AB combo is often debated, particularly during their battle with Minato in the Third Great Ninja War. In this fight, Minato faced both of them alone. The Raikage attacked first, but his conventional taijutsu and speed were no match for Minato's space-time ninjutsu. Minato used the Flying Raijin to dodge at the last second and then teleported behind the Raikage, preparing to deliver a fatal blow. At the critical moment, Killer Bee intervened, blocking the attack with his tentacle. This marked the end of their first exchange. From an observer's perspective, it was clear that Minato had the upper hand. The main point of contention is whether Minato's kunai could pierce the Raikage's lightning armor and kill him. Some argue that the lightning armor could barely withstand Chidori, as seen when it drew blood, but left the Raikage unharmed, so blocking a kunai shouldn't be a problem. However, first, the strength of the Raikage's lightning armor at this time was likely different from its strength during the Five Kage Summit. Second, judging from the battle, while Minato's attack method seemed ordinary, its intensity was not weak. Minato used a special kunai to slice open a large gash in Killer Bee's tentacle. This moment was briefly shown in the anime, but more clearly depicted in the manga, with a close-up of the impact on the ground emphasizing the force of the strike. In the Kakashi Gaiden, Minato mentioned that his kunai were specially made and heavier than usual. This special quality likely wasn't just about adding flying Raijin markings for teleportation, but also increasing their destructive power. Comparing this to others who have cut through tentacles, Sasuke used Chidori Sharp Spear to sever one, while the third Raikage used his Hell Stab technique to cut off all of the Eight Tails' tails. Cutting through the Eight Tails' tentacles isn't an overwhelmingly impressive feat, but it's certainly not weak. At the very least, it proves that Minato's kunai were far from ordinary. Additionally, considering Killer Bee and the Raikage's reactions during the battle, Killer Bee intervened without hesitation, believing his brother was in real danger. If Minato truly couldn't break through the Raikage's defense, would Killer Bee, who knew his brother's defensive capabilities well, have felt the need to step in? Minato, who was praised for his high combat instincts, wouldn't have made such a poor judgment. It's likely that the Raikage's lightning armor at this time wasn't as strong as it later became. Moreover, after Killer Bee intervened, the Raikage didn't react like how Gaara later did, saying, "You're meddling." Instead, he humbly apologized to Bee, acknowledging that he would have been injured without his brother's help. This suggests that the Raikage knew he was outmatched in that moment. In the second phase of the battle, Minato used a mark left on Killer Bee's tentacle to teleport behind him, declaring that they were evenly matched, and the battle ended with both sides retreating safely. While it seemed like a stalemate, Minato held more of the initiative. His reflexes were likely fast enough to dodge Killer Bee's sword, and even if they traded blows, Minato would have survived a stomach wound, while Killer Bee would have been left clutching his head. Minato's survival skills were exceptional, as seen when he survived being impaled by Kurama's claw. Even if this exchange ended in a draw, it's unlikely that Killer Bee could consistently predict Minato's teleportation timing and location. Ultimately, the Raikage's decision to call off the battle was likely influenced by concern for his brother. The Raikage later admitted that he believed no one could defeat Minato and remembered his name for decades, indirectly acknowledging Minato's superiority. The battle between the Raikage and Minato was a clash of speed at its peak. Minato relied on kunai to traverse spacetime, while the Raikage moved like a lightning shockwave. However, There's one more variable in the battle between Minato and the AB brothers. Killer Bee's ability to transform into the full 8 tails from Minato's Chronicles. It seems that when faced with the tailed beast ball from the 4 tails, or 5 tails, Minato could only retreat. No, wait. That was because he had to protect his teammates, which is why he used the flying Raijin to escape with Jiraiya and the others. Let's hypothesize. If Minato had teleported the tailed beast ball to the enemy's base, that would have been too underhanded. At the very least, we can confirm that against the AB combo, Minato could remain undefeated. As for the strength of Minato and Killer Bee, the official databooks note that Killer Bee and Minato clashed multiple times and acknowledged each other's strength. This leads some to believe that Killer Bee alone is equal to Minato. However, we must consider that Killer Bee is a Jinchuriki, making it nearly impossible for him to undertake solo missions during major wars. Additionally, the Raikage mentioned that he had also fought Minato many times. The databook's mention of Killer Bee fighting Minato one-on-one can be interpreted as the AB combo fighting Minato together. The AB combo was at the peak of their fame during the Third Great Ninja War, but they were still overshadowed by Minato. After the war, the duo went silent for a while. This was because after the third Raikage's death, the fourth Raikage, fearing the loss of another loved one, confined Killer Bee to Mount Kumogakure for training and forbade him from undertaking dangerous missions. If enemies approached, Killer Bee could simply use the tailed beast ball from a distance, as the massive explosion would alert the guards, who would then notify the Raikage. While this arrangement kept Killer Bee relatively safe, it also marked the end of the AB combo's glory days. They lost the trust in each other's strength that Killer Bee mentioned during the Fourth Great Ninja War. It wasn't until Sasuke's Taka team captured one of Killer Bee's clones that the real Killer Bee sneaked out for fun, only to encounter Kisame and suffer a crushing defeat. This battle is highly debated. Some say Kisame toyed with Killer Bee, but in reality, Killer Bee didn't fully transform into his tailed beast mode to avoid revealing his location, thus not showing his true strength. Meanwhile, Kisame's use of the great exploding water colliding wave exposed his position, drawing the fourth Raikage to the scene. The once feared double lariat made its triumphant return, and before Kisame could react, the AB combo decapitated him. The power of this move was terrifying. Even though this Kisame was a white Zetsu clone, the real Kisame wouldn't have survived such an attack either. The double lariat can be used in combination or separately. Killer Bee's tailed beast version of the lariat alone was enough to send Sasuke's internal organs flying. This is considered Killer Bee's 8th sword. The 4th Raikage, on the other hand, uses the lightning release version of the lariat, although he rarely uses it alone, based on the power of his other techniques, such as shattering Sasuke's Susanoo ribcage and making him cough up blood. It's clear that the lariat's solo power is no less impressive. When the Raikage and Killer Bee decapitated Kisame, Killer Bee activated his tailed beast cloak, while the Raikage entered his lightning release chakra mode. The balance of their combined forces twisted off Kisame's head, proving that the Raikage's chakra, as sensed by Karen, was comparable to that of a tailed beast. This allowed him to synchronize with Killer Bee's explosive power. Moreover, the AB combo synergy isn't limited to the double lariat. In their normal state, the Raikage excels in speed, strength, and defense, allowing him to overpower enemies with sheer force. Killer Bee, on the other hand, boasts top-tier speed and mastery of unconventional sword techniques that even the Sharingan struggles to track. He can keep up with his brother's speed. Together, their combined combat is a fusion of speed, strength, and skill, creating the most seamless teamwork. As a perfect Jinchuriki, Killer Bee can also resist Genjutsu, adding another layer of security to their battles. In their enhanced states, Killer Bee transforms into a tailed beast, becoming the core damage dealer and a long-range artillery platform, continuously firing tailed beast balls. During this time, the Raikage isn't just a spectator. Much like Kakashi and Guy supported Naruto and Killer Bee, the Raikage assists in the tailed beast's onslaught while using his incredible speed to exploit enemy weaknesses and deliver the finishing blow. Of course, this assumes the enemy can survive the tailed beast's barrage. Unfortunately, during Naruto and Killer Bee's battle against Obito, the fourth Raikage was occupied fighting the Edo Kage and couldn't join his brother to showcase their tacit understanding. Zrania. So, Who is stronger between Killer Bee and the Raikage? Killer Bee, as a perfect Jinchuriki, transcends normal human limits by transforming into a full-tail beast. The third Raikage, with his top-tier offense and defense, only managed to tie with the Eight Tails, and his combat feats clearly surpass those of the fourth Raikage. In their normal states, the AB combo is evenly matched, but in terms of upper limit, I lean toward Killer Bee. After all, while Kage-level ninjas are rare, perfect Jinchuriki were even rarer before Naruto. After the 5 Kage Summit, the Raikage lost an arm, making the power gap even more apparent. When Naruto and Killer Bee headed to the war front, Killer Bee defeated his brother, proving that even in his normal state, he had surpassed the Raikage. In summary, the AB combo's combat style embodies extreme, violent aesthetics. As long as they aren't facing opponents with 6 paths powers or space-time ninjutsu, they can dominate. Under these conditions, their speed and strength place them in the top tier. With their combined power, speed, and skill, the duo is nearly unstoppable on the battlefield. The Raikage represents the pinnacle of conventional ninja strength, excelling in all attributes, while Killer Bee's full-tailed beast form determines their upper limit. Once the battlefield of lightning and beast is unleashed, it becomes a nightmare for most ninjas. This concludes our video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe.